Hey guys, Steve here. Today I got a look at Mogami for you. Running the Atago commander here. I'm playing around with different combos on that commander. Currently I got Kuznetsov, and then I put the range boost in slot 1. Uh, for these Japanese cruisers, with the turret traverse being what it is, that's part of the appeal for the Ingenious perk on this line. And so I don't know if this is the best setup or not. I'm still playing around with this Atago commander. Anyway, this is the build we got for this game. Fault line domination mode game. If you watch what the teams do, this plays out almost exactly like a typical capture the base mode game. The only deviation is they go ahead and get C on the red team. Although a lot of times in capture the base mode, the North spawn will send people to that far C position anyways, even though it's completely irrelevant in that mode. So this is a little bit of a bizarre game from that perspective, although it's not that unusual, frankly. I'm coming over here to incorporate this, or try to use this island that's directly to the left-hand side of the screen here. My fear in doing this was I was going to encourage these people that spawn with me to think that I'm leaving the B position, and then they're going to go over to support A, which I don't think is necessarily the best thing for them to be doing, but that's what they end up doing anyways, so it is what it is. So the Mogami, you can see I got the black camo on here. This is the only ship I run the black camo on. I'm going to be a little sad when it runs out. This is kind of like the ultimate assassin ship along with the Atago. You got a really great concealment. I used to run, I think I was on my Macau build, I might still run double concealment on that one. We only have one inspiration, influence, and concealment on this build. Very agile, dodgy, good concealment. So that's going to allow you to get into positions later on in the game. Typically the flow of the Mogami / Atago or Japanese cruiser games is you kind of want to stay on the move early, try and deal some damage, and then as the enemy team's population decreases, then you're going to be able to incorporate islands more and more and look for ambush type situations that we're going to see in the end game here as we close this one out. Wasn't getting much of a push from the Reds into B, so there's nothing for me to cover there. Thought I'd take some shots at the Atago. I got AP loaded here, and I'm expecting this guy to turn away to the north, to the right-hand side of the screen, and bail out since he's encountering, 3 ships that spawn there, and then we got 2 more battleships that are going over there. He's taking a sweet time, though, and we're kind of running out of real estate just due to the fact that we're moving. So finally, as we're about to cross over this island, he does begin his turn, and I go ahead and fire the shot. And this will just kind of demonstrate the AP on the ship. A lot of times, there's a lot of games with Japanese cruisers where you'll see people playing only HE. Even me, some games, maybe 2 or 3 out of 10, fire 98% or higher HE. This game we got a lot of juicy AP strikes on. You don't want to sleep on it. If you got broadside cruisers, that's when you want to be using it. And the Atago / Yamamoto build where you get an additional AP pen, that's when the AP becomes more and more effective at long range. Macau, I don't typically use AP unless it's closer range, but with these other more offensive builds, you can get away with that. The downside of these offensive builds, it's mostly in the mobility. I mean, you got 2 perks that influence speed. I think 2 perks that influence rudder shift on the Macau build, and that goes a long way with a tight turn radius type of a ship like this and good speed. So there are drawbacks to this build, but overall it's pretty effective. I've had a number of burners in the Atago and Mogami over the course of time. They've all been with Macau. Now, I've played a lot more games with Macau than these other commanders, so it's probably due to sample size. Anyway, we're whittling down the Colorado, got him off the board, and then Turpitz fires, so we're going to slow down, turn in, and at long range, I mean, the Turpitz isn't really accurate at long range, but as long as you're keeping an eye on the shots, and typically when I fire, you're going to see me zoom back out so we can see incoming fire, and that'll give you enough time to respond to these incoming shells. Turpitz looks like he probably beached there. I'm trying to use this island that's kind of 2-3 kilometers in front of me there to block both the Turpitz and the Atlanta that's coming around. But when we fire here, I think the Atlanta's pulled far enough forward that we're going to get spotted again. might as well take another shot at the turrets, and we do get spotted, as predicted. And here we got a Kutuzov sitting there. That's a ship that I would definitely like to kill if possible. So we go ahead and switch over to the AP. He's sitting pretty still, but he's starting to speed up here. So we're trying to judge the shot, zooming in and out quickly to see if the auto aim is moving it forward or backwards. He does speed up right as we fire the shot, though, so we're going to actually, I think, miss this entirety of the salvo, which is a little bit unfortunate. That's a ship that we would definitely like to ding up and wound early on if possible. Anyway, he moves out of position, and then we resume firing HE at the turrets. And again, starting and stopping like this is a little bit risky. You can see this guy's still shooting at me. You want to be angled. If you take battleship shots in the broadside, you blow up. I mean, I think the first game I ever played, the Mogami, lasted about 20 seconds. And it was kind of a rude awakening. But yeah, this ship, again, you'd typically you'd rather be full speed dodging shots rather than stopped kind of in the open, moving back and forth. I'm kind of doing what I'm doing just based on the fact that they don't have a lot of good spotting information here. A lot of their ships are behind cover, which is fine. But we're just kind of looking for positions. We're keeping an eye on the spotted icon. Whenever that drops down, we're just content to kind of stay in that position and then fire at these ships undetected. Anytime you can shoot at someone where you're not getting detected in doing so, that's free damage. The damage that you do there, they're not able to return it back in your direction. So those are unequal trades inherently, and those are what you're kind of looking for in cruisers, and really all ship classes. You want to be looking for those kind of covered firing positions whenever you can. So at this point in the match, our western flank has overrun there. We kind of overloaded the west and slaughtered those 3 ships. They didn't have anyone contesting B really, so someone else was capturing, and then I helped capture this. The Mogami, you can get away with capturing stuff due to the concealment a lot. If those ships are all kind of where they are, I can just not fire my guns and get onto this cap and capture it that way. So now we have the 2 cap advantage. They have their 1, but they're all kind of boxed into one location. That's going to be a bit of a problem for them. And what I'm trying to do now, we still want that turrets to go down. That's kind of preventing me from pushing into these cruisers. That's kind of the move that we're keeping an eye on, the availability of. And you'll see once we get a clear path to those cruisers, how effective this thing is with dealing that. Atlanta was angled there. Unfortunately, I kind of misaimed. We could have done quite a bit of potential damage there, but we did hit the Citadel once, which was nice. And then the turrets is pushing forward again. We lock the guns to the left since we're planning on turning. If I keep going the way I'm going, we're going to go beyond these islands, so we need to turn around. That's why you want to pre-lock your guns, get those guns traveling as you're in your turn here. You can see here's a good example of the slower turret traverse. Macau would have these guns on target a lot quicker than Atago/Yamamoto would. And that, of course, is coming with that ingenious perk, which is nice that it tells you that ships are targeting you, but the turret traverse is also very, that's arguably the more important aspect of that perk. And what you'll keep seeing me doing, we did this in this sequence, we used our concealment. One of your advantages with the concealment is you can pre-position your ship. So before we fired and let that turret spot us, we kind of turned away from them. We angled away from them prior to becoming detected, and then we're already in a protected position. Then we can fire. That reduces the chance for citadels, massive damage, and keeps us safe. So the concealment, it allows you to get from point A to point B, less likely to be detected, but it also allows you to kind of dictate the flow of the engagements and allows you to announce yourself to the world when you're ready and you want to be angled properly before doing so. And then if the situation gets hot, you can just stop firing your guns for 20 seconds, your detection will go back down, poof, you disappear, and then reposition. And this is, if you're using the concealment on these Japanese cruisers, that's kind of what they're designed to do, and that's how you're going to be maximizing their strengths. Now we're getting into a situation where this turrets is going down, he's getting focused by my team, and now we're kind of heading towards these cruisers. They got a lot of cruisers in our base area, which, that's typically where they'd be pushing into for capture the base mode. There's no objectives down there, so I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're looking at the score and figuring they've already lost the game and they're just trying to get some damage or whatever, which is fine. But domination mode game, you win it by holding positions, not by playing the edges of the map. You got to get on those caps, you got to flip them, you got to contest them, you got to get those points coming in. Even if they mount a comeback and tie it up in terms of ships, we're going to have a big lead here due to the fact that we've had all these objectives in our possession for quite a while. We're getting spotted again here, I believe, by the Turpits, who's... yeah, there he is. He's still alive. It looks like he's popped a heal, so he's still still active. We did have AP loaded there, trying to hit those cruisers. So we discharged that shot, immediately switched back over to HE. Battleships, pretty much at all ranges, you always want to shoot HE at them. The AP is just not that effective on these Japanese cruisers against those types of ships. So if you got AP loaded, go ahead and shoot it. And then we got a little bit lazy there. I could have easily dodged that one, but wasn't expecting the return fire or didn't really care about it at this point. And now what we're doing, we're getting plane detected. I got a lot of people always saying I'm getting detected by planes I can't see. That's fine. You can. I know the plane wasn't on the Turpits because we got a bunch of people over there, so we would have seen the plane on the map. But the plane's going to show up sooner or later, and we go ahead and shoot him down. Now I was trying to bait these cruisers into thinking I was going to the left-hand side of the island here, and then we turn once we shot the plane down. The Atago looks like he's bailing out. I get AP loaded, and we're going to go ahead and try and dev strike this thing. Now we're trying to get into a position where we're using our assassin abilities, kill these cruisers close range, and you'll see the execution here. Atago, we get all the guns on, fire the shots, then we're going to turn in immediately. Didn't quite dev strike him there, but we hit him pretty damn hard. And now we're going to pop the sonar, expecting the torps coming from this thing. And once the AP loads back up, he's going to go down very quickly. By pointing at the ship and then letting the rudder go neutral, we can easily dodge those torps. Atlanta initially was angled, but he decides his best place to go broadside to us. We're going to go ahead and teach him the folly of his ways there. And then the Kutuzov pops up on the map. He's also relatively broadside. He does have a battleship to the north of him, so I don't know if he's going to attempt to angle towards him or if he's trying to torp me. But this guy goes ahead and shows broadside as well. And this is just going to show you, this shot's probably going to bounce. Well, we had HE there and we missed it. So if that was AP and he was angled like that, we probably would have bounced that. But now he's going to open up his broadside again, and we're going to put him to the bottom of the sea. So these are the kind of situations you can get in with these Japanese cruisers where you can get into ambush situations. They don't necessarily see it coming, and you can wipe them out with torps or AP as the situation dictates. So that's a look at the Mogami, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. A lot of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Do love to hear from you. And we'll see you later. All right, peace.